Hi everyone, this is the tutorial for The Greatest. My name's Billy from Piano and Pies. Let's get stuck straight in. So what I'm going to do is talk through the fingerpicking parts first, and then I'm going to talk about the general chords if you want to just strum along instead afterwards. So stick around for that. So there is a lot of repetition in this, and once you get the initial part, which is a little bit hard, down first, then the rest of it kind of just falls into place because there's a lot of repetition. Anyway, so as you can see on the screen, we have the tab, which is available over on Patreon. We have an open A string and a 1 on the B. We're going to play those together. You see I'm using my thumb and index finger for that. Then my thumb's going to take over the G string, while my little finger and my middle finger is playing the high E string. So I'm playing 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Then that's the G string, B string. So I'm keeping these fingers in place. I then play the G and high E string, and then G, B, and then back to the G string. So slowly. See how my thumb's kind of just staying around that area, and this hand doesn't need to move. If I do all of that twice, I get the first chord. Which is basically an A minor 7, that chord. The next chord, which is a G major 7, we have 3 on the E string, and I'm going to use my middle finger for a good reason, which you'll see in a moment. I'm going to play 3 and a B on an open B string at the same time. My thumb's going to come back down to that G string, and then point your finger on fret 2 on the high E string. That's what makes it the G major 7, and that's the reason why that finger's there and this finger's here. Slowly, if we play the same pattern of notes as what we did earlier with the right hand, we get this. And we repeat that a second time. So if you get the A minor 7 and the G major 7 where you play them twice in a row, then you get the first verse. At that point we get to a pre-chorus. Now the pre-chorus starts off in the exact same way, but there are some differences. Now it's worth mentioning, if you want the chord chart for this, as well as the tabs that you'll see through the screen, as well as the chords and the lyrics matched up, so 3 different ways of knowing this song, head on over to Patreon. There is a link to that in the description, and it saves you from writing it out or potentially trying to, remember it and maybe make a mistake or forget something. Yeah, it's all wrote out professionally, so check that out. Now, the pre-chorus, should I say, starts off in the same way. We play this. We're playing that just as normal. However, at that point, go to play the G chord, but forget about this finger. This is basically going to be an F minor 9 chord. Do that once, then add that finger back on to play the G. So we've got this pattern. I'm going to play the first part of the chorus, the pre-chorus should I say. Now we almost repeat that again for the next part of the pre-chorus. We play that first one again, that part. And then we go to the E part, the E minor 9. But then, instead of going to the G, we change it again. Let's get a D major shape, which is 0, 2, 3, 2. And what we're going to do is play the 0 on the D string and the B string together. Then the G, high E, G, B. Then G, high E. And then here's a small difference, G, 3 on the high E, 2 on the high E. So I'll play that part slowly. Hopefully you could see my little finger was just catching on there for the last part, which made it a bit of a sus4 chord. So up to now you've got the right idea for the verse and you've got the pre-chorus. Now let's talk about the actual chorus itself. So the main difference with the chorus is that we're strumming now, and what we have is a C major chord, which is a 3 on the A string, 2 on the D, 0 on the G, 1 on the B, and an open E string. And what we're going to do is strum this. down, up, down, 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 up. The second chord is an E minor chord, which is an open E, 2, 2 on the A and D strings, and then 0 on the remaining strings. We do the same thing. Before going to a D major chord. Now I told you earlier when the finger picking, if you shape that chord, that'll help, because it'll help right now in the chorus part. Before going back to a C major chord. Jumping ahead, it then goes to A minor in the chorus, which is an open A, 2, 2 on the D and G, 1 on the B and an open A, sorry, an open E string. And then it goes to E minor. You'll then play D major and then finish on C major. Now, that is an absolute ton of chords. So, like I said earlier, if you would like the tabs, the chord charts, the structure, as well as the chords and lyrics matching up, go on over to Patreon. It really will help for songs like this, which is absolutely huge. Now, at that point, there's a bit of a post-chorus going on, and it's very similar in regards to other parts. I'll just play it through it for you. So there's the A minor shape, going down to the G, and play the G again. So it's basically just another verse. Speaking of which, we get a second verse, which is just the same thing 2 more times. Now, earlier in the video, I mentioned that if you want to strum along rather than finger pick, I would talk you through the chords. So let's do that now. We have basically an A minor 7. So if you want to strum along to it, this is what we need. Open A, 2, 2 on the D and G, 1 on the B, and 3 on the high E string. That's your A minor 7 chord, sounding really nice. And then there's the G major 7, which is 3 on the E string. Then try and mute the A string by touching the A string just with this finger. Then you have 0, 0, 0, and a 2 on the high E string. However, if you find that chord to be a little bit uncomfortable, and if you know G major, that'll work just as well. And basically, if you go up between the two, then you'll get the verse by cycling between the chords. At that point, there is more repetition. We've got a pre-chorus and chorus, which is the same as all the parts before it. However, we're going to skip ahead a little bit and look at the next new part, and this is the loud part. This is kind of when there's distorted guitars and so on. And there's a few chords we need for it, as well as a bit of an issue with the timing. Now, the first chord we need, F major, which is 3 on the D string, 2 on the G, 1, 1 on the B and E strings. Another chord we need, C major, and then a normal G major, which is 3, 2, 0, 0, 0, and a 3 on the high E string. Now there's an interesting thing with the rhythm going on here. It sounds like they have a group of 3 and then a group of 4 afterwards, a bit like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got this very odd pattern. You could count it in 2 groups of 3 and then a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But yeah, that's how I would normally count it for this type of song. And basically, you're going to go between the F, the C, and the G several times before, at the end of that part, what we do is go to this. E minor. And then there's an A major chord, so which is an open A string, 2, 2, 2 on the D, G, B, and then an open E string. It then goes to an outro, and that outro is just the same as the kind of chorusy part, where we're playing those chords nice and gentle to end the song. So as I've mentioned, if you want to get all the extra bonus content, the tab, the chords and the charts, the chords and the lyrics, then head on over to Patreon, and the people who will get that are the people on the screen. Those are my active patrons, so the moment this video goes live, they'll have that straight away to play through. So thanks to them for their support, thanks to you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.